Hello, 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 and welcome to the 7 Levels of Energy workshop. I'm super excited to talk to you guys because this is like one of my favorite things in the world to talk about. So, looks like we have a couple people filtering in. Okay. Hi. Okay, so while we have people filtering in, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of the lay of the land in terms of technology. So this is called Zoom. If you don't have Zoom, your faces and your voices can show up, but I have you muted, so don't worry about that. Let's see. More people filtering in. Looks good, looks good. Okay. Cool. Okay. So while people are filtering in, there's something called the chat box on the bottom. So if you want to ask questions at any point, feel free to put them in the chat. And then toward the top, you can use something. There should be a box that says speaker view. Make sure it says speaker view. It should default to that, but if you don't have that, it might look weird. Okay. So you guys are my guinea pigs today because I'm all about like being really scrappy and creative in what I use for my business platforms. So I've taught this workshop a bunch, but I've never used Zoom. So we're going to try Zoom today. If it looks wonky, I'm sorry. It's going to be wonky. Okay. All right. I've got a few people still coming in. Okay. So I do a little bit of a mix between, I call it soul food and strategy in my work. So I like to do a little bit of woo and then a little bit of like hardcore stuff. So I was thinking, since we're doing some mindset and some energy work today, I think we're going to start this workshop by pulling an oracle card. I was like, should I do this? Is this going to turn people off? And I was like, you know what? If you have the opportunity to use oracle cards at work, you should definitely do that. Like if that's your job, you should definitely do that. So we're gonna do it. All right, well, people are still coming in. We're gonna use the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck to set a little intention for our workshop today. Okay, all right. Everyone get into your intuition if you're not there already. Okay, and let's see what this deck has while we're waiting for people to come in. Okay, what's the message for our workshop today? Oh my gosh, so good. Okay, Butterfly Maiden. This has like a bunch of goddesses. You are experiencing enormous change right now, which brings great blessings. This is the perfect kickoff to this workshop, actually, because changing your mindset and getting awareness around your mindset can be really challenging and uncomfortable at first. It doesn't have to be uncomfortable, but we make it uncomfortable sometimes. So I think that's a good reminder as we go through this that the changes that we have are actually usually very, very good things, even if they're uncomfortable. Okay. Okay, so I think it looks like most of us are here, so let's dive in. So, hi, I'm Amy, if we're new to each other. I am really, really excited to share with you guys today the 7 levels of energy and how to use them to consciously create your reality. Basically, I'm a teacher, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor for women who want to change the world. So I help passionate, creative women make an impact. And this concept of energy is one of the main building blocks that I use to do this. So when I first heard about this whole 7 levels thing, I gotta be honest, it sounded a little culty. It sounded a little Scientology and weird. So I am a little woo, but I also am very grounded. So I was a little unsure of it. But then when I learned about it, it completely rocked my world. Like it changed the way I thought about my job, my relationships. It gave me this instant boost of confidence that I needed to actually start my business. So even if you're not 100% bought in on this, it does have the capacity to change your life. So I highly encourage you to kind of come at it with an open mind. And I highly encourage you to stick around till the very end of the workshop, because I'm going to share something where you can actually take this energy assessment for free. It's pretty expensive, like it's around $300 to do it, but I'll show you a way you can do it for free. So hang around till the end. Also, if you want to have a notebook and pen handy, we're going to take some notes. I'm going to ask some questions. So if you're a note taker, go ahead and grab that. So before we get into each one of these levels, I want us all to take a sec, drop into your intuition, and really think through the question, what is it that you're creating? Take a sec, ground your body, and think or write it down. What is it that you're actively building in your life, or what do you desire to build? Okay, great. So now that you have a little something in mind, I want you to answer this very honestly. You can put it in the chat, or you can write it down, or you can just think through it, but answer super honestly. What are the mindset blocks that are holding you back? Not outer blocks like education, time, money, like true inner blocks, like crappy beliefs. What are a couple of them that are holding you back? Okay. Hopefully you've got a couple there. Keep them in mind, because as we go through this, I'm going to teach you a couple of really easy ways to shift them. Okay. Let's talk about the 7 levels. I'm so excited. This is my favorite. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you can see these. It just makes it a little bit more real. And if you are listening and not watching, that's fine too. You can look at these in the replay. I'll add these as well. Okay. So this whole idea of the 7 levels of energy comes from the founder of my coaching discipline. It's a guy named Bruce Schneider, and he studied people for years as a therapist and a coach. And he started to notice these patterns around the way people's mindset worked and affected their life. So basically, he came up with this idea called the 7 levels of energy. It's also called energy leadership. So the way this works, everyone has 7 basic levels of energy, or 7 basic ways that you can show up in a situation. Think of this like mindset presets. Just like you have access to all the channels on the radio, you have access to all of the energies or ways of being, but you probably have a few presets or go-tos. So when you know what your presets are, you can be really intentional about them and actually use them to your advantage to get more of what you want in life and less of what you don't want. So it sounds pretty straightforward, right? Let me show you what I mean. So this is an example of the energetic profile of one of my clients. They were gracious enough to share it with us. And this is what you get when you actually take the energy leadership test. So we're going to use this as an example. So this is her typical energy pattern. She typically lives, looks like in level 6. a little bit in level 5, and then she's also got some 7 and 4 action as well. So the longer the bar, the more energy there is. So let's dig deep into what these levels mean so we can think about how we want to use them. Now, before I tell you what these levels are, no, there's no right or wrong. You're going to see yourself in every single level, which is actually good. Every level has a light side or an advantage, and every level has a dark side or a disadvantage. So we're not trying to banish the bad levels. You don't have to go through mental gymnastics to say like, oh, I never have level 2, like we all do. So the whole point is we're just bringing conscious choices and awareness to each. Okay, so let's break these down. Starting with level 1, the victim. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so this is like the Eeyore level. This is, I always lose. Life is terrible. I'm doing everything wrong. This can show up as anxiety, avoidance, guilt. I'm not good enough. There's this constant weight on my shoulders, and no one gets me or values me. So I see this a lot in myself when maybe like there's a confrontation that I don't want to have, or especially this is where I go with difficult conversations with my husband, right? I'm like, I have no clue what to do about this. I feel really stuck. So I'm just not going to have the conversation, and I'm going to sit on the couch and eat chips and watch Netflix instead. So I see this a lot with clients when they don't know what direction to take with their work. They're like, you know what? I really do want to make a difference, but I have no clue where to start. So I might as well just not do anything. Again, advantages and disadvantages here. Level 1 feels pretty terrible, but it does allow you to kind of tap out when life gets too much. So it sucks, but it's also really protective in a way. So my question for you all would be, and you can take a sec to kind of think through this or jot it down, what prompts this energy to show up in your life? Everyone has at least a little bit of every level. So where does your level 1 show up? Okay. Okay, so hopefully you're not scared away and you have a little insight into where this comes up, because I'm going to show you how to shift it. Okay, cool. So now on to my personal favorite level, level 2, the fighter. Okay, this energy is like, well, okay, let's take it back to level 1. If level 1 is like, I'm fucked, level 2 is like, oh no, fuck you. I win and you lose. So this can show up as anger or force, but more often I see this as kind of the belief that if I don't assert myself, people are going to run all over me. I have to fight to get what I want. And if I don't fight and protect myself, I will never get where I'm going. So this is the level of right versus wrong. This is judgment. And most people don't like to admit that they have this energy. But here's the thing. This is where like 90% of our population lives, right? I am in it for myself. I'm out to get mine. I mean, think about politics. I win, you lose, zero-sum game. We see this a lot in like corporate hierarchies. You know, I'm right, you're wrong, I'm in charge, you're my subordinate. This is a really common energy level in the world. So again, we don't like to admit that we have it, but advantages and disadvantages. I really love my level 2 because I used to have a lot more level 1, like a lot of feelings of powerlessness. And level 2 kind of helps me stand up for myself and fight when fighting is appropriate, like when I'm fighting for something I believe in. So it can be a good thing. Now, the disadvantage of level 2 is that it really burns you out. Level 2 is like this hot, fiery flame that gets shit done, but then it can burn you and other people in the process. So different people have different amounts of these, but we usually have at least a little bit of each. So let's take a sec. You can put it in the chat box or just jot it down. Where does your level 2 come out? Okay, and I'm guessing a lot of people put relationships and traffic because that's what it is for me. Okay. So now on to my least favorite level, level 3. And if you have tons of level 3, no shade, it's just hard to coach level 3. The nice girl. Level 3 is the nice girl. In level 3, you're super positive. You love to look on the bright side. You're a real team player. You can just get along with everyone. But sometimes there's a dark side underneath. So people with tons of level 3 are masters of rationalization. This is all about cooperating, tolerating, being positive, taking responsibility in your part of what's wrong. So instead of dwelling on bad stuff, you make a plan to fix it. Now, the good part here is it's much easier to function in society from this level. Like taking responsibility and getting along with people is a lot better than having like shouting confrontations constantly. But it can kind of cause you to cover up maybe some stuff that's not working. This is where we do the mental gymnastics of really trying hard to do quote unquote positive thinking about something that maybe we need to admit is not working. So here, you're moving forward, you're not as weighed down, but it can be a way of avoiding conflict and it can keep you from being honest with yourself. So I see this come up for me, honestly, when I'm disappointed about like a work failure. My fellow business people will attest, like being an entrepreneur, you fail constantly. And, you know, ideally, we'd all love to have the mindset of, oh, it's an opportunity for growth and learning. But sometimes when you're really excited about something that doesn't work, it sucks. So my level 3 comes out when I'm like, oh, I made this thing and it didn't work. But you know, it's okay. It's a learning experience. And really, maybe I need to look at the feelings underneath going, hey, that was hard. I need to lick my wounds a little bit. So again, positives and negatives here. So what about you? Take a sec, think about where does your level 3 show up? Okay. And now on to the level I used to live in constantly, one of my biggest energetic patterns, level 4, the mom. Okay, so this is the level of service. People with a lot of level 4 say, you know, people just come to me with their problems, or I just love helping people. This is the energy where you genuinely do want to give more than you want to receive. So people with a lot of level 4 are genuinely the sweetest, most loving, compassionate beings out there. And that's a really beautiful, selfless thing. But it can have a shadow side with it. Because when you're constantly giving and helping without balance, it becomes a little bit like, what about me? So you're giving and giving and giving, but if you're not taking in at that same level, you're going to end up resentful and burned out. So if you live in level 4, you have to have your boundaries on point so you do not dip down into resentment or anger or victim mode. Now, I know that the people here are very loving, compassionate beings. So I'm sure you'll have no shortage of examples where this pops up for you. And, you don't want to necessarily get rid of level 4. It's beautiful and our world needs more of it. But the boundary thing is, the struggle is real. So go ahead and feel free to jot down a few examples of where your level 4 comes up. Okay, now we're into the juicy stuff. Level 5, the opportunist. So I would say that probably 99% of my clients have tons of level 4 because they're really caring and compassionate. But also, most of my clients have tons of level 5 because this is where entrepreneurship and opportunity live. So, level 1 is Eeyore, I always lose. Level 2 is like, you need to lose. I'm going to win. Level 3 can be a little manipulative, like, I'm going to win. If you win too, that's fine. Level 4 is like service, you win. I'll take care of you. In level 5, things start to shift. It's not necessarily about winning and losing. It's like, let's both win. Can we both win? How about we all win or no one plays? How can we come up with a win-win? So here, you're not really into judging things as right or wrong. You're just looking for purpose. You're looking for opportunity. Let's use this for good, for growth. So unlike in level 3, where you're convincing yourself there's an opportunity, you really truly believe, wow, I can create anything I want from this. This situation is a gift. I can't wait to do cool things with it. So entrepreneurs naturally live here because they can see so much opportunity. And if you have tons of level 5, you're all about creating that win-win where you both serve and get your needs met, which makes you an incredible partner or teammate. These are like the best relationships ever. So for me, this really pops up in my coaching classroom. I really value my students learning and being a part of the community. I'm like, look, guys, if this lesson isn't working out or, we need to take a break, we all win or none of us needs to play. We're all a family here together. A lot of people see this in the way they approach their teams. And a lot of people see it in just like, wow, it's my life. I'm going to do something really cool with it. So the shadow side of level 5 is a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out, or paralysis analysis, because when you have all of this vision, you see opportunity everywhere. And then you start to go, oh my God, which one do I choose? Or, oh my God, I see opportunity everywhere. If I don't choose the right one, I'm going to miss out. And so you kind of get stuck. So again, super powerful, but has some negatives. So take a second, just kind of jot down, what about your level 5? Where does your level 5 pop up? Okay. And on to another of my favorites. I said level 2 is my favorite, but I actually think level 6 is my favorite. The connector. So this is the level of connection and intuition. This is where you think, you know what? There is some sort of overarching purpose to this thing called life, and we're all in it together. This is where creativity and intuition just flow. And so when you access this level in your work, it doesn't feel like work, it feels like passion. Level 5 has more of a strategic, left brained version of that. But level 6 is sort of the heart, gut level of pure flow. So whenever you access your inner wisdom or do something that puts you in a state of flow, you are experiencing level 6 energy. For me, this shows up when I'm writing, when I'm teaching, when I'm coaching. There is some sort of magic that just kind of like comes down from the universe and flows in my head and out of my mouth when I'm coaching people. It feels like a heightened, transcendent experience. And you know, you're not going to have transcendent experiences every moment of your workday, but if you have a lot of level 6 energy, you deserve to have a little more of this creativity and flow in your work. So we always want to run toward that space. So I know I have some really intuitive people here. So either share in the chat or just kind of jot down, how does level 6 show up for you? Okay, and on to the last, but not the least level. Level 7, the guru. Okay, so this is the level of total transcendence. Okay, so think back to the last time you were just totally zenned out and high on life. That is level 7. Here, there is no fear. There is just pure passion and creativity. So in level 6, there's passion and creativity and flow, but it's more about connection. This is about transcending everything, even connection in level 7. So this is a level of like, I don't need to pay my bills. Let's go meditate on a mountain and shit. Namaste. Joy, the joy of living, right? So the downside, it's very hard to get things done. Level 7 feels amazing. Level 7 is walking out of a yoga class, but it's really hard to pay the bills, show up to work on time, live in the real world. And it can be a little tough on your relationships if you have a lot of level 7, because when you're going, hey, you know, this existence thing, we're all just floating around on a ball in space in skin suits. It can be hard to have skin in the game and really commit and show up vulnerably in your relationships. This is where a lot of like spiritual bypassing can happen. There's not a lot of concern for the real world. So advantages, again, total passion and transcendence, feels amazing, but it can be hard to relate. So for me, I access level 7 when I am walking in nature. There's a beautiful botanical garden here in LA that I go to when I just need to be. I need to turn my brain off and just be. And when I'm walking around just experiencing nature, I'm in this total zen, blissed out state, and it lets me recharge. And I actually get some of my best ideas that I can then go and take back into like a level 5 place and do something with them. So nature is really common here. A lot of like, like mind altering substances, sex, there are embodied experiences that can bring this out too. So what about you guys? What brings out your level 7? Go ahead and jot it down. Okay, so I'm going to take a sec to look at these chats because meditation, yes, meditation is a very level 7 experience. Bubble baths, yeah, that will do it. Awesome. Okay, so you guys are experts on the 7 levels. We're going to get into like what to do with them. But I want you to first either jot down or you can just think this through. Of the 7 levels, what do you think are like your top 3? What would you say would be the 3 where you live most often? And just think through that. So for me, I typically, I think level 2, 4, and 6 are my kind of primary ones. I am a right fighter, and like when it comes to fight or flight, it's fight. Like, get in my way, I will cut you. It doesn't happen that often. I'm really hard to make mad, but when I am, I'm really mad. Level 4, obviously service, and then I have a lot of that intuitive energy. So now that you've kind of identified where your primary levels might be, where do you want to be? What energetic adjustments would you like to make? Think through that for a sec. Okay, so hopefully you have a couple ideas of the type of energy you want to have. So now that you're all experts, let's talk about why this matters and how to use it, okay? So I really love this quote. It's your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude. I had, like, when I taught 7th grade English, I had this on a poster. It was very corny, but it was very true. Because basically, what this means is your mindset matters. The energy you bring to your goals of starting that business or getting that job or creating that thing, it matters. If you have a goal of something you want to do and you are constantly showing up all level 1, like, oh, I'm not good enough, yet your results are going to reflect that. So the good news here is that everyone has a combination of these energies. Let's say you have 20% in level 1. If you choose to shift that energy, it has to go somewhere. So you can shift it into any other level that you want. So in the upcoming mastermind that I'm hosting, it's called Inner Truth Academy. We're focusing on this idea of creation because we are always creating something, whether it's a business, an amazing job, a blog, a family, a body you're proud of, whatever. You are always creating. either consciously or unconsciously. So you might as well get intentional about this stuff. And when you get intentional, your mindset becomes the actual foundation for your results. So I wanted to do this workshop so you could have that solid foundation. Even if you don't join us in the mastermind, which I sincerely hope you will, you can still create the mindset you want. So here's how to put this in action, okay? Let's talk about shifting energy. Number one, the very first and most important thing to do to shift your energy to get the results you want, be aware. Start noticing what triggers each level in you. Start noticing where you tend to land. You may be in level 4 all of the time, and then something at work stresses you out, and you're yanked down to level 1. The first step here is simply becoming more aware of what your energy is doing. When I first did this in coaching school, I was learning how to use this tool, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm in 4 a lot, but I don't know why. So I started keeping an energy journal, and I would just write down like, okay, I'm in level 4 now. What put me there? And I started seeing these patterns emerge. So think about keeping an energy journal if you're really into this. It's really eye-opening to watch some of these patterns show up. Okay, so number 2, once you are aware of your energy, you get to shift it. So if you're unhappy with what level you tend to live in, think about what other levels you have to choose from. Okay, so let's have an example of this. All right. So let's say you're scrolling through Instagram and you see a girl you went to high school with, and she's living an amazing life, and you're not. She has your dream business. She has a super hot partner, and so she's doing amazing, and you start to think, wow, I would love to do something like she's doing, but I'm not smart enough or outgoing enough or special enough. And bam, you're in level 1. So now that you have awareness that this isn't reality, it's just a form of energy, you can start to ask yourself, okay, I'm in level 1. What other energetic options do I have? Well, I could go to level 2 and judge this girl like, oh, well, she's probably just fake. Her business probably isn't that successful anyway. Or you could go to level 3 and think, well, I can rationalize this. I'm not as far along as her, but I've done some really amazing things too. I've just been focused on other things. Or you could even jump up to level 5 and think, what's the opportunity here? Maybe I could reach out to her and ask how she got started. So the point is, once you realize you have other options, you get to pick what energy level you want to be in. Pretty cool, right? This is the point at which my clients normally go like, oh my God, I just woke up from the Matrix. My entire life is my choice. That's a little bit mind-blowing and kind of overwhelming, but the more you practice with it, the easier it gets and the better results you get. So last but not least, before we get into any questions you guys have, I'm going to share with you how to get this personalized energy report for free. It's really great to kind of think through this stuff, but when you see it actually laid out in these charts, it's mind-blowing. So typically, I do this report, this energy report, with all of my one-on-one clients, and I charge almost $300 for doing just an a la carte session on this. It's folded into the one-on-one coaching. But if you're intrigued by this energy thing and you want to see your personalized report, you can get this report for free if you join the Inner Truth Academy Mastermind. So for anyone who signs up for the mastermind in the next 48 hours, you're going to get a free personalized report of exactly what your energy profile is, what it means, and what to do with it. Okay. So if you want my eyes on your energy and my personal recommendations, this is for you. you're going to get something that looks like this. It's a 13-page booklet detailing your energy patterns, and it's going to be broken down into 2 pieces. Number 1 is going to be this one up here, your profile. This is your energy on a given day. Like when things are normal for you, this is where you live. Then you're also going to get a second chart with your energetic stress reaction. This is where it gets juicy, because here, this is what happens when you're stressed out. Okay, you can already see like maybe some slight differences in energy. Now, this could be something small like someone cut you off in traffic, or it can be something major like a move or a death of a family member. Whatever the stress is, it's going to affect your energy. So if you know the way these 2 work together, you can actually manipulate how you respond to stress to not get as stressed out, which, I mean, that's like invaluable information just to have about yourself. So if you want to live a more purposeful, happier, more meaningful life, honestly, start with your energy. You want to make an impact? Start with your own mindset around stress. So if you've been on the fence about doing the mastermind at all, I highly, highly recommend taking advantage of this opportunity, because the only other way to get this report is doing the one-on-one coaching with me, which is amazing, but it doesn't have that focused community aspect that makes the mastermind so special. So here's how it'll work. Later this afternoon, I'm going to send out an email with the replay in case you want to watch this again, or for the people who weren't on the call live, because this is a lot of information to take in. And I'll include a link to the mastermind. So with that link, you can go on, pick your payment plan, and then when the mastermind starts on Tuesday the 29th, I will send you the link to take the energy assessment for free, and you'll have your results a few days later with my personalized recommendations. But again, it's only available to current mastermind participants, and it's only available if you sign up in the next 48 hours. So if you are at all intrigued by this idea, now is the time to do it. You can also just go to the website. I have this little pink banner at the top that says the mastermind is open for enrollment. And if you sign up directly there, I'll know like when the time comes in, and you can just click enroll now, and you'll get the energy test as well. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this so I can answer your questions. Okay. So again, don't beat yourself up if you're like, this is so much information. It is a lot of information to take in. What questions do you guys have? Take a couple secs, and if you have questions, put them in the chat box, and I'll go through them. We'll get even more juicy details. So I'll give everyone a second to do that, should you have questions. Or you can ask questions about anything, by the way. I don't see questions. I see more bubble bath. Bubble bath talk. Of course, bubble baths are part of your level 7, Kim. Yeah, transcendence does occur in bubble baths, but it is also hard to show up for work on time. Okay. How would the guru approach that situation with the girl on Instagram? That's an awesome question. Okay. So what is the level 7 transcendent take on comparison shame? Probably something like, we're all floating around on a ball in space, and everyone has their own journey, and I'm on my journey, and she's on her journey. Isn't it cool I wonder if our souls knew each other in a past lifetime. Maybe we have some karma to work out together. Huh, maybe I should call her. Oh, look, a meditation app. And then they're just off on another thing. It's like in level 7, you are profoundly unbothered, which, and I have kind of a weird relationship with level 7 because you're profoundly unbothered by everything. Like, you could see, like, you're walking in the woods and you see a bear and you're like, hi, bear. I wonder what the universe has delivered to me with this bear spirit, when actually you need to run, right? So positives and negatives. What other questions do we have? Let's see. Any other questions about, like, maybe a situation in your life where you're not sure what energy level it is? Sometimes that comes up. I love to diagnose those too. Okay. All right, I think that's all the questions that we have live. I will say, if you are watching this on the replay and you have questions, or even if you're watching it now and something pops in your head, feel free to email me. You can just hit reply from the replay email. This is legit my favorite thing to talk about. So I think we'll go ahead and close up shop. This has been my absolute pleasure to share this with you guys today. I sincerely hope it has been helpful. Like I said, if you're intrigued or you've had your mind blown or you just want to learn more, go sign up for the mastermind. Get your free report. Tell your friends about it. Make some cool stuff with us in community. I love you all dearly. Have a great weekend, and I can't wait to hear what you do with this stuff.